I left a six-figure salary job because I didn't want to die. And through this, I learned that no job is worth dying for. When I got the results, the doctor spoke very seriously to me, and I knew that she was breaking some not so good news. Even if I get a great salary, and if my ticker can't keep up and it stops, and I go goodbye, then what's gonna happen to my kids, my wife, my folks?
Hi, welcome to Off the Record. I'm Crystal. I'm Hazel.
And I'm Imran.
So today we're going to talk about burnout. We're going to talk about when is it time to leave your job, right? And we are going to talk about why you shouldn't die for your job or take your work too seriously. You've had many jobs across many different industries, a lot of them being in writing, in marketing, and so on. Can you tell us your story, your experience in this?
Okay, so it's a bit of a story journey, mostly because I've had quite a double-digit number of jobs through my career that span across 4 industries, from television to publishing to magazines, newspapers, media, and marketing. And just to kind of set context, right, for half of my career, the first half anyway while I was young, I just did stuff for fun, right? And I was quite happy being poor and a struggling writer or editor, whatever it is, because I loved the job. You know, I really loved just getting in there, working in the media, writing stories, working with writers. It was great. And at a certain point, and as they say, you know, your life stages change and you have to change along with it, I realized I actually had to earn money. Mostly because getting married, setting up family, children, you know, all the bits about adulting, right? And that was when I realized I just couldn't do, you know, stuff for fun. And to which I also realized that you had to swallow a very bitter pill if you wanted to earn a little bit more, which was tougher job, bigger stress, corporate, you know, that kind of stuff. And so I went full on. I went into corporate life. I did what I had to do. I worked my way up the marketing ladder. And mind you, I only started marketing much later, when I was well into my 30s before I started marketing. But because of my experience in editing and writing, I kind of took it on pretty easily, I think, because I quite quickly became like a marketing manager and leader along the way, became a head of marketing and so on and so forth, right? Now, that's when things started to really get a bit hairy, right? You know, with leadership roles, you have people under you, you have bigger responsibilities. The money is much better, obviously, right? You know, rather than writing every day. But, you know, you had to be even more in and more invested into it. And that's when, by that time, I was into my late 40s. I'm 51 this year. And then I realized with the whole accumulation and compounding effect of work, family, my own parents, my children, things aren't as rosy as it was when I was in my 20s. Right?
The time was fun, now it's for
the time was fine. You know, you're young, and when you're young, you're invincible, right? You can, you know,
you don't sleep.
You don't sleep. You go party. You skip the whole sleeping period. Just get back to work straight from the club. It's fine. But as you age, you can't. These days, I look forward to going to bed at 9:30, you know, or 10:30 at best, after, like, you know, watching a whole bunch of useless YouTube videos after putting the kids to bed. And I crawl in and I'm like, oh my God, this is so fantastic. Oh. And then you get ready for work, you know. But, you know, the nature of work later on as you get into leadership roles, it's a lot harder to actually find that bedtime space. And though I realized, okay, what if I go full on and then my well-being, my physiology can't keep up? Even if I get a great salary and if my ticker can't keep up and it stops and I go goodbye, then what's going to happen to my kids, my wife, my folks, who I'm also helping to take care of, because my folks are now in the twilight. No matter how much you earn, you have not enough time to take care of the people you're supposed to take care. I feel it's not worth it.
Was there a specific incident that made you realize, hey, this is the moment? Stories like someone who passed on quite early. Was there something like that make you kind of wake up the next morning and say, you know what, I have to stop, I have to reevaluate my life?
You know, the universe sends you a lot of signals, right? It's a matter of whether you want to read the signals or you ignore it for whatever desires or needs that you're pursuing. This is a pretty horrible thing to say, but it's a bit more obvious that you need to slow down, because this year alone, I think I've attended quite a number of funerals, from relatives to friends, guys who are my age. I kind of delve into it, the idea of that, you know, death is such a looming entity. Once you come to a certain point in your life, Singapore is a real pressure cooker, right? You gotta be productive. You gotta keep on going. You gotta keep on earning. I mean, retirement is far from my mind. Thinking about it, I thought about all the people that I know who have passed, and the numbers are adding up. When you're in your 30s, there's suddenly a lot of weddings. You know, and then I used to host a lot of weddings. You go to a lot of baby showers.
Yeah, correct.
And then now, unfortunately, you're like taking a lot of funerals, which is horrible to say, but it's just the fact of the cycle of life. That's where you're at. People are dropping, and like people you know, people who are close to you, and it's particularly distressing, right?
So you had a recent health scare at work, right? Maybe tell us about that moment when you got the results. What did it say?
My last health check, in a way, my wife kind of forced me to go to, because, you know, as guys, right, speaking to all the guys out there, I know it's scary to go for a health check. We refuse to acknowledge or confront that requires for us to heal and to progress and live longer, right? Because we're just that stubborn. Right? Even for me, I'm a former editor of Men's Health, so I know about health. And ironically, I've always avoided going for a health check. I know I have to, but I don't want to. But then I know I got to do it, right? So as a former sports person, being heavily involved in martial arts, I always pride in the fact that I know how to take care of myself and so on and so forth. Ultimately, at this age, I'm not in my prime. I don't exercise as much as I have to, or I should. I just play with my kids most of the time, right? I abuse my food, right? I literally abuse it. I mean, I'm eating like I'm 20, but I'm not. And you feel it.
You're not alone.
Yes. I know. All the men out there, you know what I'm talking about, right? But it came to a point where when I went for that particular health check, and then suddenly I knew something was wrong, because I was lying down, right? And then the nurse was doing my ECG. And then she put all the wires everywhere, and the sticky tape all over my body. And then suddenly she was like, why? And I'm like, what do you mean, why? You know, she's like, then she adjust, she poke a bit, then she tap. Then she's like, I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound good. When I got the results, the doctor spoke very seriously to me, and I knew that she was breaking some not so good news. We detected something. One of your arteries is not like firing regularly like the rest of the arteries and so on and so forth. And I'm like, oh, what does that mean? Am I going to die? What's going on, right? And they said, it could be nothing. It could be something. But I highly suggest you relook into your lifestyle. She said, highly likely, are you like drinking a lot of coffee? I said, yes. How many cups do you drink? I said, average of 6 cups a day. She said, that's way too much.
Cups a day.
That's way too much. I'm like, okay. How about your sleep patterns? I said, I try to sleep very early, but I always get distracted by either writing projects that I do on the side, or I just watch way too much movies, and I try to sleep early, but I have to wake up late because I send the kids to school, She said, you might want to relook into that. Are there any stresses? And I was thinking to myself, what's the main stress? I mean, well, it's mostly work. And also, your cholesterol is high, you know, all the diet stuff. You got to take care of yourself better. So, of course, when I got the results, I showed it to the wife. And then that was when I realized, oh no, I need to do something. Because then the wife started crying. She started tearing up. We have talked about it many times. She said that, you know, one of the greatest fears is me going first. And we kind of know that may be it, right? Because I'm 10 years older. I'm an old man, and I'm still trying to go full steam ahead.
Yeah.
And so she tries her best to, you know, to kind of mitigate my inevitable end. It's a tough fight, because she's dealing with a grumpy old man who just wants to do his own thing, who abuses his satay rights. You know, I shouldn't be eating that much satay, but I do. Just want to keep on going. I want to run forward without looking to know when I'm going to fall. If that makes sense. Right?
Working too hard.
Yeah, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die, right? That's my thought, right? And I think most men would agree with me that, you know what, you're going to die. Like, why do you want to know when exactly you're going to go? Just keep on moving forward. So that was the mindset I have. And then I realized, yeah, but you know, when I die, I'm gone, right? It's the rest of my kids, my wife, my folks, then how? So I said, okay, let's just try to figure this out. Less coffee, she put me on the diet. I feel better. I started working out better, more regularly, and I had to reconsider my work. Mind you, at this time as well, right, there's another added stress, because I won't just attribute it to work. This year, like I said, has been horrible. My parents are in their 70s, and my mom's into this dementia quicksand. She's just disappearing, right? This year alone, I think I've been to the hospital so many times because I'm the de facto ambulance. If something happens, I gotta run there and I, whisk her to the hospital. And this year, she had one of the worst falls she had. She cracked her orbital lobe because she fell face down. So in the midst of all these things happening, right, my own health, my folks, my kids, just starting life, how much money do I need to be able to sustain my lifestyle and to be able to give enough time?
So the stress of everything made you decide, okay, this is the point that I'm going to leave.
Yeah. I think, and it was a very tough call, obviously, because in a way I'm lucky because I've been in so many roles, I know that wherever I'm parachuted in, I'll be able to optimize the workflow as much as possible because of my experience. I've held the title of Head of Marketing and Director of Marketing for the past more than 10 years already. I'll be able to optimize every single organizational situation I've been in and make sure I hit my KPIs. And I do take a lot of pride in my work. I'm at this point where I'm thinking, okay, so what do I do now, right? Do I just keep on going down that path? Do I do my own thing? Even doing your own thing means it's still a lot of work. You know, and what does it mean to start in your 50s? Do you restart? You know, I'm an eternal optimist. Ultimately, everybody dies.
And Hazel, you have also been in a situation where you have to think about leaving, right, a certain role, and then to manage, like, but still juggling family.
Correct.
Your kids.
So I completely resonate in every word that you say. And by the way, I'm, 2 years younger than you.
Same face.
That's right.
Yeah.
Parents at that age where I'm also by default, speak down. That's the number to call. I need to go to A&E.
Yeah.
It's been difficult, right? So as I was listening to you, sort of also kind of brought back memories to myself. There must be something within us, right, that will sort of call out, push us forward, and make that change. So my question back to you is very much saying, when all these things are happening right in front of you, right? And what is that one thing, or maybe two things, that sort of support you to say, it's okay, I'm ready to do this, I'm going to change? What is that?
Okay, this may sound a bit cliche, right? But it's my wife. Yeah, it's my wife. It's as simple as that. I'm characteristically quite self-destructive. As you form partnerships in a family situation, right, the clearest indication of whether you be a good father or a good mother or a successful man, brother, whatever, or successful woman, wife, whatever, is really the ability to find the right partner. I think that's the fundamental thing. It's because of the support of my wife.
So apart from finances, you deciding to leave, like without a job, and like just go into doing your own thing, is really because of your wife.
Yeah. This is not the first time. I've actually left jobs for many, many reasons. Either principal misalignment or something didn't go well. I felt like I could do more, or I've gotten a better offer. I always try to kind of move forward, move ahead and improve myself. And she's always been very supportive. Even when it seemed like it wasn't such a great time to do it, we would talk it out and she would weigh it against my own well-being, which is critical. Right? Because one of the things she really doesn't want to deal with is angry, stressed me, coming home, not being the best version of myself for the kids as a dad. She'd rather not see that. She'd rather see me flourish and be happy as well. So yeah, it's a lot of things for her to kind of manage as well.
Yeah, I don't know you prior to this, right? But just hearing this story of yours sort of made me realize this is how I see you. I feel like you probably have lived a very fulfilled life. You get to do what you really wanted in your younger days. It's all about I, me, myself, kind of. And dive in, right?
Yeah.
And you get to do all of that.
Yeah.
And then you come to a life stage where, hey, wait a minute, I'm responsible, right? For my family, my parents, and more importantly, the woman in your life. She sounds like an amazing person.
Wow, she's top notch, based on what I told you guys just now as well, right?
Yeah. And she's
Very ID.
Yeah, and she's really now the anchor of your life stage.
Yeah, she is.
And because of her, and you're now willing to look at everything else, including your health, which is really important, and make that change. So while you're saying this, and back to Krista's question, back to me, right? I felt like I'm slightly opposite of you.
Oh.
Yeah.
How so?
Not that I don't love my husband or my family. I'm committed to that. I think I'm on the other end because I feel like the opposite is I started off as a giver. So in my early days, it's give. I don't see myself at all. Everything I do, whether it's contributing back to my parents, my sister, making sure that they get to go to school, immediately after graduation, it's like, where's my first job? So it's always about someone else. And I've reached a point where I wake up one day and I said, what about me? Where's me? Right? Same like you, healthcare. And that became almost like everything now that I start thinking of is myself. And maybe the difference is my kids are a lot older. They are young adults now. So I felt like I've done my part for them and for my family. And I now need to start taking care of myself. So going back to what's my passion, what I love to do. So you see the difference between us?
I do. I now understand what you mean by it's kind of the opposite, right? But here's the thing, right? I still do want to pursue my passion. I have a lot of weird hobbies and passions that I still pursue, right? And I hear you because one of the things that me and my wife have kind of agreed, right, is that we want to actually inculcate that in our children. That's one of the priorities at the moment. It's not just, be passionate about something and then do it or interest. It's really truly finding what is your intrinsic motivation. Why do you do stuff? Because one of the things that I truly believe in is that there are no lazy kids or lazy people. Just folks doing stuff they don't like.
Correct.
Just as you were mostly the giver,
Yep.
and I don't know whether this is maybe perhaps a gender attribute. Like my wife is also like that, She's also the kind that is now looking into self-healing work, working on herself, finding ways to really find the passion and find that spark. Because honestly speaking, right, for a lot of people, I've realized that it's not that easy to know exactly what you want. Even for me, I have a lot of hobbies, I do a lot of stuff, I'm quite reckless, but one of the reasons why I understand what I want is because one of the jobs that I did. So for 5 years, I was working for venture capital, and it was a very different approach. The venture capital, the founder, Shuhei, which is my... Shout out to Shuhei, represent, one of the things that Shuhei really wanted to do was to, provide seed stage investment to founders. But the business didn't really matter as much as why the founder was doing it. Okay. So that took us down a path of really trying to understand what is the intrinsic motivation of anyone to do anything, which is very broad, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can do whatever you want, You want to just stay home and laze around? Can, but you'll reach a limit. What then would be the real reason why you do something to which it becomes kind of limitless? It will continually drive you. So to answer this question, Shuhei made sure that everyone within the venture capital group really took the time to sit down and really look inwards and really understand yourself as much as possible. All right, and this sounds like it's a lot of talking, right? But to be honest, it's a very horrific process because there's nothing more scary than actually looking in the mirror for an extended period of time. All your flaws will bubble to the surface very, very quickly. And you start to go through the whole process of imposter syndrome, which is heightened by 10,000. You question why you're doing stuff that you do, why do you do this? But if you stick with it, right, the process will eventually lead you to a point where you look back to your childhood and then you realize you need to kind of heal all the childhood traumas, all things that's happened to you that has manifested to bring you to the adult that you are now. So that process actually helped a lot. And it was inevitable that I had to do it because it was part of my work. But the thing is, halfway through, my wife realized that I was kind of changing because of the process. So she said, look, you can't go on this alone. You have to loop me in. And so I looped her in and we did it together. And that's why our bond actually kind of cemented even more during that stage from 2018 to 2023, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, for 5 years during that time. And so our perspectives really, really changed. It's such a difficult thing to do because when you meet someone, you meet them at the stage where they're already an adult, right? They get married, you bring children to the forefront. But as soon as the children appear and manifest and start growing up, right, they realize, the mental model of the parenting that you have been brought up with is the one that you're going to apply now. Because there's no parenting manual. Whatever that you're doing now is what your parents did to you. And oh boy, did our parents do so many mistakes. So many mistakes. And it's that mental model that you have, so you automatically just use it until your partner catches you and say, okay, wait, what's happening here? So imagine my wife, who is a Malaysian Chinese, me Singaporean Malay, raised very, very differently, coming to that crossroads of, wow, our parenting styles are completely different and it's going to come to a collision course. So we had to arrest that right there and then.
You talked about helping, going back to the topic of understanding the motivation behind why you do what you do. This was essentially very helpful for you in realizing the steps that you need to take in your career, in your work, and stuff like that.
Yes.
Right? So could it be that for a lot of us Singaporeans, we work really, really hard and stuff like that. And a lot of times we don't really know why we do what we want to do.
Yes.
Right? We are just in this cycle of, let's just do. Just go, because that's what we so to do. That's why we ascribe so much value to the work.
Yes.
Right? And we just go for it.
Yeah, we take it on because our identity, right? The work, is basically our self-worth, our identity, what we are, what we do. We are what we do. And it's not the case. Right? It really is not the case. You are a lot more than the work that you do.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough when we are in this position where we have so much value in our work because when things don't go well or they don't go our way, and then immediately we see our self-worth aspect in that.
Yeah. It's true. Just to reiterate, I think it's really important for you to find that it's not the passion, it's not the hobby, it's not what you like to do, it's really why you're doing what you're doing. To make it slightly easier to kind of gun for, right, is to understand what your life mission is. As high level as it sounds, at first I was kind of hokey, like, why is my boss telling me to find out what my life mission is? What does it matter? Oh, it matters so much. It matters so much. Because once you know that, right, every decision that you make from then onwards, right, can be a lot less confounding or difficult because your life mission actually helps you to sift through all the complexities. It's something which is very, very difficult to get to. I must admit, it took me a long time, many years of discussions with the in-house like facilitators and folks who are in psychology to be able to help me and the rest of the team kind of at least hone in. But once you get there, right, you realize that your decisions that you make are a lot more guided because you kind of know, and you have to embrace a lot of very difficult realities. One of which is that even if you know what your life mission is and this is what you're going to do, you may not achieve it in a lifetime. And the best you can do is actually build some form of legacy for it to continue, which is even more difficult because you're not going to be there to actually push it along. So how then do you ensure that this is even worthwhile? Yeah, like I said, a lot of existential questions will start popping up along the way, but you gotta hang on and at least try to ascertain it, I think. You'll be a North Star, I think.
Interesting. I mean, look, I feel like when you spoke about passion, right? The truth be told, I mean, I was just sharing with you, when I first started my career, there was a question because I look around people around me. Oh, this person is good in writing. Hey, this person, has this skill set, really good in doing this and that. I started looking within myself and saying, so what am I good at? Right? I can't cook. I can't write as well as this person. Can't present as well.
Your plants can grow quite well. Boost lah.
Green thumb.
So then when I start looking at that, and I say, so what's my passion? And for a long time of my life, I keep asking myself, exploring, putting myself out there. Let me try this. Let me do this. I gave up.
Oh, really?
Yes, I gave up. I think the minute I decided I'm not going to find it, let it come. If I have it, I have it. And I think within 2 or 3 years down the road, that's when things, the universe, like you said, whether you want to believe it's telling you, started to show up. And coupled with age, experiences, then things became a little bit clearer. And I'm still at that stage of discovering what that thing is. But I feel like I'm getting there. Right? So with all this said, and I've got 2 young adults, sometimes I look at them and I'm like, I wonder, at your age now, what are you thinking? Do you know what you really want to do? Right? And to our younger audience at the moment, is there something that you want to tell them? Is this the test that, because you're lucky, right? You have a boss that tells you, hey, ask you that question.
Yeah.
Not everyone is like that.
It is such a difficult conceptual idea to even present to anyone, to even, when you say your life mission, right? It's like, what? How do you even, what? I had no idea. And even when I found out what it was, I was surprised, like, what? This is it? And it will completely blindside you. When you go through this whole process of understanding your life mission, right? It is such a complex psychological journey of ups and downs and understanding your true nature that the truth will confound you. You will go like flabbergasted, like, what is what I'm supposed to do? I never thought of this. I never want to do this, but I know I have to. It's not by compulsion by anyone else, You know in your hearts of hearts that I have to find a way to get this out there for my own sake. Right. And it requires a lot of trauma healing. So based on what you said, right, I think for a lot of younger viewers who are starting off in their career, right, I know times are hard. Jobs are few and far between. Everything is expensive. GST will kill you. Me and my wife were just the other day out there having dinner together, and we realized the dinner scene, as we know, is not as vibrant as before. Lots of closures, F&B suffering. Even the hawkers are going through their own battles and so on and so forth. I think at the very least, you need to decide what are you willing to sacrifice. Okay, and again, let me try and build that bridge between finding your passion and your life mission and the sacrifice. Okay. The thing is, it's not about suddenly deciding, okay, I want to do this and that's it. It's not. There will be a price to pay in whatever you indulge yourself in. And it's about choosing your version of hard, right? If you want to have a hard life later, then, it may mean that you can do whatever you want now, because then again, you won't be like as financially robust as you will be later on if you just do fun stuff, because we know fun stuff doesn't pay.
Yeah.
There's very few people who do the real fun stuff and then end up going, oh, phew, it's been fun, but what can I, put my name on it and what have I earned? Usually it doesn't work out that way, right? On the flip side, then there are those that let's just work and earn, invest, financial prudence, and then you're fired, and then by the time you get there, sometimes by the time you retire, you're too old to enjoy anything. You're just miserable, okay? And what am I going to do? I've accumulated wealth, but what do I want to do? And then by then, you have to go on another journey to find out what you really want to do.
Yeah.
Right? So you gotta choose. Which one is it? Because there's very few of us who can have our cake and eat it. Right? I think I'm really lucky, like you said. I'm extremely grateful for the fact that I've been able to do absolutely nonsensical things, survived it, and come to a point where I'm now married with 3 kids. By the way, this is my second marriage. So I've been through the block once already, right?
Yeah, fun facts.
Yeah, fun fact, second marriage.
I need another episode.
Yeah, this is a fun fact, second marriage. So I've learned a lot already. And because I was willing to just go all out all the time in my youth, I just went full on experience. Because I think my nature is that way. I'm either off or on.
You don't have you don't have an in between.
I don't have like the middle, but yeah.
Then it's like because you are either on or off, when you go on, right, you go so hard.
I do.
That when maybe things are off a little bit or like go in a different direction, and then you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. You're right. So I, like even when I first graduated from uni, well, all my friends, and I graduated at a time when it was the recession. Everyone just, okay, let's just do the safe thing, get government jobs. Okay, everyone like, let's become teacher. Let's set up be an entrepreneur, let's set up our own business. I was like, no, I think Singapore TV is terrible. I want to be a scriptwriter and write better comedies. Yeah, my friends are like, you crazy. What? I did it anyway. In fact, I remember, so when I graduated, I don't want you to support me. You supported me enough. I will do my own thing. So I remember taking the bus from Jurong West to MediaCorp, which was then at the Caldecott. Yes, I took the bus, and I remember I was so broke. I was counting and make sure I have enough coins to take the bus to and fro. I was like, okay, let's I'll come home and eat whatever's at home for lunch. But this is it. This is my shot at becoming a scriptwriter. So I took the bus there, and at the time, my then girlfriend, who was smart enough to have done an internship there as a producer, begged the executive producer to meet me and say, give my boyfriend a chance, kind of thing. So I begged, I said, I'll work for free. Just let me cut a few trailers for you. Let me cut a few episodes for you. I'll do it for free for a few months, and then you tell me if my work is good, then give me a shot.
Right.
For that month, I tightened the belt like nobody's business, because I was okay, I'm working for free. Let's just cut the best work. And when you're in that element, right? Is it a 0 or 100 kilometers per hour? Right? I went full on. I stayed back. I put stuff together to make sure that it was the best. It was some of the best work I did, I think. I was particularly proud of the last episode that I did, and I put together a mini documentary about the horror movie scene in Singapore. And I was so proud of it, because I was like, I'm not getting paid for this, but damn, this is. So I was like, I remember sitting at the Caldecott in the middle of the night, which was quite haunted then, with my editor saying, my masterpiece, my free masterpiece. And then I heard sounds outside, okay, I have to go home because it's haunted. So, but it was great. It was fantastic. I was like, whoo. So yeah, passion, right? Yes. Young people, ayo.
It's all flowing. I could feel it.
It's actually very, very nice to talk to. It's very nice to talk to people and to hear stories from people who are very passionate about what you do. Because sometimes after working for a certain while, and there are people who just clock in and clock out. It's just there for the money, right? Which is the opposite end. Yeah. Right. So
which is not without its merit.
Yeah, which is not wrong.
Yes.
It's not wrong.
It's perfectly fine.
It's just that it's refreshing to be.
Are we as Singaporeans that dire that we do not really?
I don't often meet people who are passionate about what they do. Literally, and I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs as well. Right. And I don't really meet a lot of people who are super passionate about what they do. Yeah.
Oh, that's a travesty. Yeah. I mean, but I again, me being the eternal optimist, right? I always try to inject some level of excitement where I can. But again, to my own folly, sometimes when it gets too drab, I don't feel I can stay in any particular job, right? And so I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie, as you will, right? And one of the reasons why I've stuck to marketing for this long so far is because marketing does give you that shot of adrenaline, you know, when you launch campaigns or you see the numbers spike or you grow it by 10x. Oh, I tell you. You know, but I mean, it's to your own detriment, lah, right? Like the last place I've been to that I had that, it was such a wonderful feeling, you know, to see the numbers keep on going and my acquisition is just killing it. I'm like, yes, this is what I'm talking about, right?
Until it almost killed you.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, okay, dying.
So thank you for watching Off the Record. Thank you, Imran, for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I know I ranted a little bit, but hey, you know, it's either 0 or 100 kilometers per hour. So.
In between, okay. If you like content like this, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.